Hey guys, it's Brian and George, and as most of you guys obviously know, Game of Thrones just wrapped up its 9-year run as one of the most popular shows on TV.
I know, Brian. I'm going to really miss it. That was one of my favorite shows, and I actually really liked the series finale. But what was your favorite part of the show?
Yeah, I've never seen Game of Thrones. Yeah.
What? I thought you watched the show. Thanks for joining us, Jack. So we're going to take a look at ThoughtSpot, our partner's search-based analytics tool, to dive into some Game of Thrones data and kind of discover what's the lasting legacy that it's had on pop culture.
And don't worry, this demo is spoiler-free.
So let's take a look at how many people in the United States watched Game of Thrones on the day it was released. I have to add a Game of Thrones filter because we have other shows in our data set. And you can see that the show gradually gained viewership over time, starting at around 2 million, but growing to around 14 million. Let's put a little twist on this and see the viewership by the director. I'm only going to look at top 10. And in this case, David Nutter takes the cake. But down here we see that we have a Spot IQ insight that Alan Taylor has an episode, 66, that has 2.3 times the average total viewers. Let's go check that out. We're going to drill in by the episode title. And you can see that Beyond the Wall is the episode, which I can vouch for that was a great episode. So we've looked at Game of Thrones data by itself, but I think we can get some value by looking at it compared to some of the other popular shows in recent history. I've used the versus keyword to save some answers. Let's start with Breaking Bad. While a lot of people have seen Breaking Bad nowadays, the premiere day viewership came nowhere close to the Game of Thrones, save for the last episode. But Breaking Bad was on AMC. What about another wildly popular show on HBO? Let's look at The Sopranos. For the data we have, this is a tough race. The Sopranos actually comes out ahead of Game of Thrones in this race. But one thing that we have to consider is that this is only cable data. Many people watch Game of Thrones with a streaming service. While we don't have the data for every episode, we have cable plus streaming numbers for some of the more recent episodes. Let's take a look. This shows that streaming adds about 3 to 6 million more viewers for each episode. But what do these percent increases look like? So across these 7 episodes, we're looking at a 35 to 60% increase in viewership from streaming platforms. If we can apply this analysis across the rest of our data, we can predict that most of these episodes outpace The Sopranos now. Aside from viewership, another way to gauge how great a show like Game of Thrones was is through the awards it's won. Let's check out this pinboard that I created. At this point, the show has been nominated for nearly 500 awards and has taken home 157 of those. But some of these are Emmy awards and Guinness World Records. Quite a spectacular feat taking home that many Emmys. In fact, it holds the record for the most Emmy wins by a TV program in a single year, at 12 in both 2015 and 2016. If you look over at the Guinness World Records, it's interesting to note that it holds 2 records for piracy and torrenting, which just lends back to just how many people have watched this show over the past decade.
So there's no doubt, just by the numbers, that Game of Thrones will have a lasting legacy in pop culture.
Yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and if you think that your company can leverage ThoughtSpot search-based analytics to find actionable insights within your data, please reach out to us at either here on LinkedIn or at info@smsgroup.com. Thanks again for watching. We hope to see you around.